What are your thoughts on quantum, regular physics, just philosophy, religion? Is it all up in the air? Is it provable? Is it all mumbo jumbo? Is it all woohoo? Or
all right, you want to intro it?
what up, guys? We're back again.
Episode number 3
Of
Hindsight 2020. We could have done a lot of shit different, but it's all in the hindsight. For sure.
all this week, dog. All this month, all this year, all my life. All our lives.
Many worlds.
What up, dude? How you doing?
Dude, I'm good. I had a good day at work.
Dude.
Yeah.
Shout out to y'all for hyping us up on Instagram and
Hell
YouTube,
yeah.
bro.
And for debating with me.
Yee!
You know what I'm saying?
Starting those little debates, We're glad that you guys are listening to us, or we hope you're listening to us,
Even if you're misunderstanding what we're saying.
Everything's up for interpretation,
For sure. And we're always down to, have positive discourse about anything that we say.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. But what'd you do today?
I worked on some music, got a little bit of my grit in.
Okay.
You got to practice what we preach, so.
For sure.
Got a little mix in. I actually did those wave bouncers for you, so. It actually took way less than I thought because I have another email, so.
Okay, for sure. I was going to say that to you in the text, but I was like, he's going to figure it out.
Yeah. I don't like Google Drive, though.
No, that shit's annoying.
I know
every 15 gigabytes. Oh, you got no storage. You want to buy it for $50 a month?
And same with iCloud, too. You want an iCloud storage?
Dude, if you want to talk about iCloud storage, bro, iCloud storage has ruined my iTunes experience because I can only play music that I have streamed. I can't fucking drag my MP3 files onto iTunes anymore. I have to delete my fucking library every time just to put a new MP3 file. And okay, so when your iCloud storage fills up, because that's the one thing, you can put an MP3 from Logic onto iTunes and then it'll go into your cloud and then you can have it on your phone.
Okay.
My shit's filled up and I don't know how to fix it. And I haven't done the due diligence to learn how to fix it. So now I just fucking email all my fucking songs.
Do you put all of your pictures into your computer?
To be honest, I don't take a whole lot of pictures, but I should get a backup drive and clear it out every once in a while. But at the same time, though, it's so complicated.
No, I'm not saying that justifies that. I'm just I was saying that's what they want you to do. Either delete all your stuff or go back it up so you can have more room or buy it.
But it tricks you because sometimes you don't even know where the fucking memory storage is taking place. Sometimes it says there's this many gigabytes of pictures, and I'm I've deleted all the pictures that you said that was taking up the space, bro.
Yeah.
Where do I go now? And it's sketch too, because iCloud, anyone can access it. So
yeah. Be careful
that.
with that cloud stuff.
Yeah,
whatever that is, anymore. unlimited data storage. What?
Just to be up in the fucking microwave frequencies and shit. The fuck? How do you know that shit ain't getting? Oh, let me get that. Oh shit.
Wild, man.
I'm old school in that sense. That's one thing I think we should keep old school is making sure that we keep some of our info off of the internet.
For sure.
The iCloud is the internet. Why do you think they give you a fucking email address attached to your iCloud? iCloud or something at iCloud.com. Yeah.
Well, information is gonna get out. Or it's cool. It's good to put information out, but we still should utilize books and even maybe CD, even all that stuff's destroyable, but at least you could have a bunch of copies of CDs, they could just wipe out the cloud or the internet whenever they want.
For sure.
Whoever they is, but they could just
whoever they is. I feel like we say that a lot.
I think a lot of people say they a lot when they're referring to, the unknown or powers that be, exactly. Just things that are beyond your reach or wild shit.
The puppeteers of society. For sure.
What do you guys feel about that? Or how do you guys feel about that? You think that this stuff is all run by a couple people, or you think we all got free decisions to make around here and nothing's really corrupt? Leave a comment below. We'll see.
There's a lot of different ways there's so many different ways you can take that.
What's up with that impeachment though?
Yo, so was it the House or the Senate that impeached him?
It was the House.
Okay, so now he has to go to trial. So he's not like officially out of office yet.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people were under the impression that he's impeached, he's gone. Like, nah,
no.
he's not gone yet. He still has to go through trial, a criminal trial, right?
I believe so. And then, but what could also happen is if he gets acquitted, then he can still run for office next year, because that's what Kennedy did.
But would he be?
Or Clinton. Sorry.
Would he be like? Not well. The presidency is almost over. Huh? He got elected in 2016.
Yeah, it's at the end of next year.
The end of 2020.
Yeah.
Okay, but if he does get impeached, you're saying if he gets acquitted, he gets put out of office, but he has the opportunity to be reelected.
Yeah, he has to be convicted to basically be kicked off. Yeah.
Okay.
So hopefully he gets convicted, but I don't even know. I'm feeling like a world of war is at hand with this. Like, not to put it up in the air, but an impeached president, man, I never thought I'd see that in my lifetime.
Isn't Nixon the last time that it happened?
I don't know. I honestly can't tell you the last time it happened, but
I'm not that interested in presidential history. I'm more interested in like Egyptian history.
Oh yeah, for sure. But it is important to learn,
No, it is.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about that a lot recently.
What?
Like how little I know about politics and how much it affects my life.
Right.
And like, it seems like, okay, I'm gonna get into my conspiracy bag. It seems like
let's do it. That's just what we do.
It seems like they present it a certain way to be unattractive to people, because the dialogue in politics is so pish posh and like hella fake that like the average person doesn't even want to pay attention to a debate or sit here and try to decipher what it is they're using their big words and fucking
for real,
their
right?
big titles to get across. Like, actually, the Breakfast Club is doing a really good job of making politicians accessible and humanizing them. Like Pete Buttigieg, he's running for president. Kamala Harris, a lot of them have had interviews.
That dude with I was about to say Andrew Yang. What is it, like a universal income or whatever?
Yeah, $1,000 a month for every person. No matter what.
Yeah, something like that.
Which we could get into, like, if that's a good idea or not. But Breakfast Club brings on so many politicians that it's like they actually seem like real people. Because Charlemagne will hit him with the Charlemagne question, and I'm like, okay, I like this person. I like Pete Buttigieg as a person. I don't know too much about his policy, but
what? I didn't see that interview.
I can't really remember off top. I just
dope,
remember liking his character.
For sure.
I didn't hear him pandering too much.
But what were we talking about that? Oh, just making politicians more accessible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And making politics more of a fun, not fun, but like an intriguing thing to be a part of rather than something old and outdated and played out like what we view our parents as,
Mm-hmm. That's probably by design, just because, if it keeps us uninterested in it, then the people that are interested in it have the more say, if that makes sense. Like they control more of what's going. Like the older people that actually care about politics are the ones voting, the ones getting people into office. If the votes actually matter, if that actually counts towards what actually goes down, it's all people that are interested in it, not people like us that have no interest or like want to vote because we don't know anything about it. So.
That's what the voter bias is too. It's something in statistics that I learned when I was in my senior year, where they tell you about a voter bias or like I'm losing the wording of how to convey it. It's like the vocal minority. Have you ever heard that term? Like someone saying the vocal minority, like if they're saying take this survey and we're gonna use it to know if people in America like this, and the people that respond to it are the vocal minority. The vast majority of people aren't going to respond to it at all. They might agree with it. They might disagree with it. They might not be on either side. But the vocal minority is what's reflected in the survey, and then that's what's used to say what America likes. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of like what elections are, because I don't know the percentage. We could look it up, but it doesn't matter. There's a very few amount of people, like percentage of Americans compared to the large majority of Americans that actually go out and vote. And those beliefs are what's being portrayed as the American.
Exactly. That's what I was getting
stance,
at, Yeah. So like that older policy or like the older view of things is still in full effect pretty much, like no millennials really care. So like we can't implement our ideas at all because, not saying we can't, we don't implement ideas.
Yeah, it's not trendy.
It doesn't get you clout points.
I think that would be cool though. Like maybe we'll do some research on that and talk about it here and get people that are like us that aren't that interested by becoming interested ourselves.
Tongue twister right there. Try to say that 3 times.
It's hard with the grilling. It's hard to say that with the grill. It's hard to say a lot with the grill. It's okay.
But yeah, bro. So I guess it's time for us to start getting more involved, you know, because everyone can sit here all day and talk about, oh, I'm so glad Trump's getting impeached, but like, why are you though? Because you have heard a couple of things about him on the news, or because you actually feel strongly about the policies that he is, you know, he's letting go get passed by or get passed and stuff like that. It's like,
or do you just want points with your friends for posting about it?
You know, exactly. So
that's why I don't post stuff like that. Like, if I don't really believe in something or know much about it, then I don't post about it. I might talk about it, but I'll always let someone know, hey, I don't know much about what I'm talking about. I'm just going to give my opinion of my limited perspective and then maybe educate me if you know more, you know?
Hopefully educate me and not attack me because I don't know.
Exactly.
Because everyone is strongly opinionated and this is what it is.
They're just waiting for they're just waiting for the cue to like go off on someone.
If you guys know anything about politics, shoot it down there because you can help us out.
There is one person, his name's Ben Shapiro, the guy that looks like Rags to Riches.
Shout out Rags.
I listen to him, and he's a conservative, Orthodox, Jewish dude that, like, I really probably would never be in the same room kicking it with just because, like, other than him being intelligent and having interesting things to say, we don't agree on a lot. But because he's so interesting to listen to and he has his shit together and he sounds like he knows what he's talking about and he really thinks about the things that he says and he's intelligent and articulate, like, I like to listen to his videos even though I don't agree with half the shit that he's saying.
Yeah.
But he brings up a lot of, like, conservative points, and it's interesting to listen to him because I don't identify as conservative, but I do lean left on a lot of issues, like abortion.
What's left and right? How what is that?
Okay, like left would be like pro-life, or no, left is like pro-choice, transgender rights, gay rights, and it's weird that that's a political stance,
right, yeah.
And not just a human stance. But, and then the right would be like anti-vegan,
so more conservative. So.
Calling transgenders gender dysmorphia, not recognizing it as like a real thing, being pro-life and all that kind of stuff. It's like it's associated with the right.
Gotcha.
You know? It's hard. Like, I don't talk about politics too much. Sorry.
That's how much I know. You know, like left and right.
Dude, and it's like a trap too, because like the second you identify one way or the other, then like a million people that are like on the opposite end will like attack you with like preset beliefs. That's kind of what happened to me today on Instagram.
Exactly.
He was hitting me with like these these things that he was saying like I was some like leftist liberal trying to ruin his conservative. Like I'm not even on that.
Yeah. And then they'll just be like, well, you can't talk about it if you don't have a standpoint. Damn. All right.
Okay.
Well, I'll let myself just throw all my money to taxes and just be part of this world. Shit.
And just make my friends smile and do a good job at everything I try to do and try to be a good person.
Dude. Speaking of corrupt politicians, Jeffrey, or he wasn't a politician, but what was his name? Epstein?
You saw me drop that comment?
Yeah.
What should we talk about on the next podcast? Jeffrey Epstein. That's a rabbit hole.
That dude. What made you say that? You were just fucking around?
Me and Ross May, I don't know if our viewership knows, Ross May is a local Oceanside hip-hop OG, and he was in the studio the other day because we have a music video that we're working on. And instead of working on a lot of our music video ideas, we just started talking about conspiracy theories like we do. And he had gone down the Jeffrey Epstein rabbit hole. And Jeffrey Epstein is like, he's not a politician, but he's a financier and a person, like a philanthropist, a person that's very wealthy for reasons not a lot of people know why. And I guess he was gifted like an $150 million home. I don't know if that number is accurate, but like a really expensive house and an island called St. James Island. If this isn't accurate, I can always verify it later, and we'll like correct ourselves on the next podcast if people are passionate about me being wrong. But anyway, he would fly a lot of politicians to his island.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's related to
a lot of celebrities were in contact with him. You'll see him in pictures with a lot of people that we know: Captain America, fucking Jay-Z,
I say Captain America,
Trump. Bill Clinton. A lot of people have pictures online with this guy and have ties to this guy, and he pretty much was convicted of child molestation, like statutory rape or some shit, because he's been sleeping with underage chicks and bringing a grip of them to this island, and the same island that a lot of former presidents and celebrities and different people have been reported to have gone to.
Hell yeah. And
that's where my knowledge stops.
Wasn't he keeping them? I mean, I don't know, but I thought he was like keeping a bunch of them hostage or something like that, or like there was just a
some R. Kelly shit.
Kind of like that, yeah. And like, because I was watching this little short on him, and it was saying, I forget exactly what it was saying, but I remember it was talking about some of the politicians, actually being there and seeing, like saying it would be impossible for you not to know what was going on in that house if you were there. And there was a bunch of people there, so.
Wait, keep talking. I'm going to look up this quote that I saw about it.
Oh, for sure. It's just, I just don't understand how you can sit here and say that the government does nothing wrong for us, even though, he wasn't strictly part of the government, but he was hanging out with politicians.
Hell yeah.
His homies with Prince Andrew, like that fool.
That's the one thing I read about that was crazy as fuck. That fool has been like reportedly slept with underage women with Prince Andrew.
Exactly. Shit like
That's
that.
fucking crazy. Underage girls, not women, because they're underaged. Okay, this is the quote that Donald Trump gave about Jeffrey Epstein in 1997. Let's let Google load. It's some crazy shit. Jeffrey Epstein was a terrific guy. Donald Trump once said, now he's not a fan. Where's the actual quote, though?
It's just crazy. I feel like shit just gets put straight in our face, and a lot of people just like to ignore that shit.
I found this shit. Okay.
That's fine.
I
Let's
found
hear
the
it.
quote. This is from Donald Trump, y'all. I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy, Mr. Trump told New York Magazine in 2002. He's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side.
Ooh, there you go. With Donnie. Mr. Donnie himself. Donnie Darko.
God. If that's not sketch as fuck, and that's our president, hopefully this impeachment shit has something to do with that, or how he mysteriously killed himself.
Yeah, in jail?
After being put on suicide watch. Mm-hmm. And the cameras apparently got turned off for that, like, one moment.
Hey, you got people in high places. You never know what's going on, Ooh.
For sure not.
Jeez, like, it's crazy to get into conspiracy theories when it's just, like, unexplainable things, It's just, like, just because the news said he was dead, we just gotta believe that he just committed suicide and it's over with? Damn, but he was an influential-ass nigga. Like, he had people in high places, like, high places.
He could have gotten killed, or he might not even be dead.
Weird shit.
He might be back on that
Imagine
island.
being on that level, like, not saying being on the level where you're molesting little girls, but, like, being at a high status that you can pretty much get away with murder type shit, or, like, you're above the law. And I wouldn't want to be that, but I think it's crazy that
exists as a reality for some people.
Because money buys everything,
The craziest thing to think about is how many people are going in and out of that spot and who are taking pictures. Like, I wouldn't take a picture with someone if I didn't know them or know what they were about and post it on my social media, or give a quote like that about them, Like, how do you not know what he's about? And now they're, like, disowning him.
Oh, no, I'm not a fan of him. No, that's a bad guy. Okay. I mean, of course, like, friendships have fallen through.
It's even reported that he likes beautiful women. A lot of them on the younger side. The fuck
younger
does that
side,
mean, bro? The fuck does that? Oh, you know how you were saying that you think we won't get monetized if we cuss? Yeah. I've seen so many interviews on Hot 97 where people are cussing in Breakfast Club too. So I think we're good. I think we'll get monetized. People want to hear us be real anyway, not try to censor ourselves. What else has been on your mind, though?
Well, let's talk about some quantum theory.
Quantum theory? Many worlds? Two worlds?
Two worlds. This fool was talking about a lot of different worlds, man. That was a crazy one. What's that guy's name? Sean Carroll?
His name is Sean Carroll.
Sean Carroll, man. Ooh.
PhD. Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah, that was a good one, man. That one.
I guess
I was I was definitely mind blown at some of the stuff he was saying.
hold up. I
But,
gotta get that screen recorder on so that our peeps can watch the clips as we do.
For sure.
Oh shit! I cannot see. Hold up. I can't even see what I'm clicking on. What do you think about what he was saying, though?
I think it's super interesting. I was just kind of confused because he never really said that it wasn't woo woo. Like they were saying, like, I'm trying to get rid of the woo woo, but at the same time, he really was still saying that they don't know anything about it, or like yeah. So he was basically like referencing like we all have iPhones or smartphones. We can use them. We can use apps. We can use the camera, but we don't know how that operates. We don't know the circuitry, how that stuff works in there, the ones and zeros and the codes and stuff like that. So that's how he's saying like quantum physicists view quantum physics. They can use equations and they can like figure some stuff out, but at the end of the day, they still don't even know why
it operates in the first place. Well, it's like all science is kind of at a standstill for understanding. Like, yeah, we know how to work it. We know how it works. We can like recreate it, but like, why is it there in the first place?
Exactly. He did clear up a lot of misconceptions I had and a lot of people do have. But he also he also broadened it up a lot as well. It's up for a lot of like not even interpretation, but just like of you figuring out what this fool's talking about. Because
for sure,
he's saying that a world gets made pretty much at every decision that you make, an alternate universe gets, or like an alternate you gets made in that split decision.
And then he said it was independent of us and that we're just a byproduct and it has nothing to do with our mind or our influence. And that's where I kind of got lost, because it's like he's almost agreeing with how the woo-woo people like make the argument out to be, but at the same time like not associating with it to kind of, I guess, maintain his image as science and not pseudoscience.
Exactly, yeah.
Exactly. Because you don't want to be put in that camp of like, oh, they'll just believe anything they're told. Mm-hmm. They just think that they can change matter with their minds.
Exactly. I guess I don't think we were really saying that.
No.
But I think people do think that, and I think that it like he said, it is dependent on the viewer though. Because you yourself become entangled is basically what he was saying. So you're a quantum being as well, meaning that you're composed of like the same thing as whatever you're viewing as well. You have protons, neutrons, electrons, all that. So when you look at something, you become entangled with it, meaning that you can decide. At that point you can decipher where that set thing is gonna be. But when you look away, I guess you become unentangled with it, which is a crazy
to be honest. I think I need to watch it like 5 more times and maybe get a
read
book
his book
on it.
No, that's what they're talking about, his book.
Let me see. I think the 18 minutes in is where a good chunk is. Here we
go. There you
go,
right here.
Could be either spin up or spin down.
Okay.
Right. So Einstein is one of the secret heroes of the book because he has this
it's coming.
As someone who
I'll just let it rock.
Accept quantum mechanics. The title, Something Deeply Hidden, is a quote from Einstein when he was talking about when he was a kid and he had a compass, right? And he was given his first magnetic compass and he could rotate it this way and that way, and it always pointed north. And you and I would go, that's cool. But he was Einstein, and he was like, wow, this is amazing. Why? How does it know where north is, right? Mm-hmm. And he said there must be something deeply hidden that explains why it's doing this mysterious thing. And he felt the same way about quantum mechanics, that we gave these set of rules, which are called the Copenhagen interpretation of quantum mechanics. One set of rules for when you're looking at it, one set of rules for when you're not. And Einstein was like, oh, come on. Clearly, this is not the final answer to the nature of reality, right? He wanted to know God's thoughts. He's like, I want to know everything. We're not done yet. There must be more going on. And so many worlds is one of the proposed answers to what could be going on.
Proposed.
It's not the only one. There's alternatives, but it's definitely...
That's the key word.
Favorite. It's definitely the easiest one to write down. Let's put it that way.
Okay, so hit us with this many worlds theory.
Okay, so think about this.
This is where it gets crazy.
You say that it could be either spin up or spin down. It's a combination of both. That's its wave function. You measure it, you only ever see spin up or spin down. So Copenhagen says that's because the wave function suddenly changed, snapped into place when you observed it. Don't ask me what...
What the...
asking the right questions.
No, they're
Gaia
not.
shit's funny too, man.
You kind of think we already know the answer.
It's that Gaia shit.
Yeah.
That's not what Copenhagen lets you ask.
Okay.
Many World says what you're missing is two things. Number one, you're a quantum system. You're obeying the rules of quantum mechanics. You're made of atoms and electrons and so forth. You have a wave function too, okay? So you're secretly treating yourself as a classical thing when you make that measurement, but you really should be treating yourself quantum mechanically, right? That's one thing.
I need to get
The
this
other
book.
thing is,
I need to get this
something
book.
Einstein invented, namely called entanglement. When quantum mechanics says there's a wave function for a system, it doesn't say there's a separate wave function for every particle, right? It says that there's only one wave function for the whole universe. So the way I like to say it is, imagine two particles come in and bounce off of each other. Either one has a wave function and it's unpredictable exactly what angle it's going to go off at. So both of the particles that go off, you don't know where they're going. But because momentum is conserved, if they came in at equal velocities, they'll go out at equal velocities in opposite directions. If you measure one, then you know where the other one
goes. Yep.
Right? That's entanglement. The observed state of one system can be related to the observed state of another system. So those are the two ingredients. You're a quantum system, and quantum systems can be entangled with each other. So Hugh Everett, who was a graduate student when he invented this idea in the 1950s, said, look, when you measure that electron, what happens physically? Like, forget about you're a person, you're conscious, all of that BS. Like, you're a physical system, you obey the Schrodinger equation. You are a quantum mechanical system, you obey the laws of physics. So you look at the electron, your wave function changes. It used to be you're just a person doing whatever you do, but then after you look at the electron, you become entangled with it. And it splits. So there's one part of the wave function that says the electron was spinning clockwise and you measured it spinning clockwise. And there's another part of the wave function that says the electron was spinning counterclockwise and you saw it spinning counterclockwise. Now everybody knows this. Like that far, it's not controversial at all. That's clearly the prediction of the equations of quantum.
To y'all, we don't know what you mean.
That means that I'm
Okay, I'm gonna stop it. I'm
Okay.
gonna stop it right there and just
Good
say
job.
I need to get that book. I thought I knew a lot about quantum mechanics after reading that Power of the Placebo book that Naka recommended, and I felt like I was really empowered after reading that book, thinking that putting my focus on what I want was gonna change the outcome. And not that now that doesn't mean that that's true anymore, but just like there's a lot more info in quantum mechanics than what I was thinking previously.
For
I'm gonna
sure.
change the battery, but keep talking.
So, yeah, this, and then I don't know how far deep we're gonna get into this video, but I never really, I don't know if I missed it or I don't think he really explains it, is how you determine when the worlds get split and what that, like, is it just a different dimension somewhere that, because he says that it's a world that you'll never get to see, hear, or like you'll never experience that again. It's just an alternate reality, I guess. So.
But like, so is it even a real thing then?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Why does that? What does that mean? Does it affect us? Because if we're never gonna have to deal with it ever again, like, what is that?
Exactly. That makes it literally.
So yeah, this is just so crazy, and the fact that he was just talking about how you're a quantum being, so your quantum, like your quantum mechanics change when you look at something. It's like, it's weird to think that that's not some kind of, conscious thing going on. Like, I don't know. It's weird to think that they think that it's all like just electrical signals. Yeah, like, or just like our cells could do that by themselves or something, like, I don't know. It's just weird.
Well, to me, it's like, what's like we were talking about on the last pod, like what's even the purpose of it if there isn't like some sort of thing beyond
Driving it.
Yeah, like if there's no purpose to anything that we're doing and we're just hurtling through the universe at the speed of light, ever expanding, ever growing, but not meaning anything. Like, what is that? I don't know. I think we just need to learn more.
Fuck bitches, get money, buy brand new cars, get chains.
Straight up.
That's like that. That's where all these crazy ideas come from. Like, oh, I ain't got nothing. Like, there's nothing else after this living
Might
right
as well
now.
live it
like,
right now.
I mean, but that's how. Who consider? I mean, that's a weird way to consider living. Like that's all just things that we've been presented and think that they're cool type shit. Like we've never been not exposed to that type of stuff to really come to a consensus of what we actually like as people. We're just like, oh, dope, nice cars are dope and big computers are shit. Like it's like.
It begs the question if you'd even become the person that you are if you were raised in other circumstances. And that kind of is like an accident of your birth. People like to say that a lot when they're describing like empathy for people in like China that have to work for $2 an hour to produce something that we buy for hella cheap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's an accident of your birth that you were born in the United States and get the privileges of someone that was born in the US. Or it's an accident of birth that I was born with light skin and you were born with dark skin. It's an accident of birth that someone was born in Tijuana instead of SD and has to deal with being a Mexican immigrant rather than a San Diego citizen. Like, it's an accident of your birth. It's not something you chose that we know of, and it's not something that you can control. So why is it something that another person can look at you at and hate when you didn't even decide that you were going to be that?
Because of the system that we were put under.
Exactly, because of the system that we're put under.
It's just, and that all goes back to that whole corruption thing, man. Woo. But where were we with this?
The quantum mechanics.
Yeah, that's just mind blowing. What is it? The worlds theory or many worlds theory?
That's like one of the three.
Yeah.
Many worlds, and I honestly don't remember the other ones. There's such big words being used, and
he said them.
Yeah, he said all three of them in the podcast. Yeah.
Oh, not in that little clip though.
No, not in that little clip. He was just talking about many worlds.
Yeah, just and then okay. So what he cleared up for me, later on in the podcast, is he was saying that when they used to, view like the wave or like the particle or whatever, they would say that it was infinitely moving and that you couldn't pinpoint where where an electron or neutron was because it's infinitely like it goes like it does like a little zigzag.
Yeah.
But what he's saying is that every atom or whatever those are, or like every particle has a wave function.
Yeah, I remember that part.
So it can be. It looks like it's moving, but it's confined within that wave function. So like, even though it's moving back right here, it can only do those finite movements pretty much.
Exactly,
So pretty much
has
it
like
is
a program.
Yeah, just like a table. Like it's all those atoms are like really close together, so we can you can knock on it.
Yeah. Instead of the air, which is real far apart, even though it's a thing and this is a thing.
Exactly. They're just set functions that the atoms take, I guess.
Man, we're really in a simulation because like this is coded, air is coded, I'm coded, you're coded,
DNA, RNA.
The microphone is coded. We're just an organic computer that's ever expanding.
How do you guys feel about this? What are your thoughts on quantum, regular physics? Just philosophy, religion. Is it all up in the air? Is it provable? Is it all mumbo jumbo? Is it all woohoo? Or can we take a little bit of everything and combine it to make,
sure. It'd be foolish of us not to.
An inference, yeah.
We're wasting a lot of time picking at the details, picking at our feelings and our beliefs instead of just coming together and working shit out.
See, yeah, like what if that fool met up with like the top like religious studies, like someone that like knows everything about all the religions, like the max PhD, so he could fill in blanks. He could be like, oh, well, yeah, well, in religious texts or like in ancient mythology, this is what they were talking about when they were like where they meant like certain things. So then, and then like they could get like a
fill
linguist,
in the blanks together.
Yeah, like stuff like that. But as opposed to him being just be like, nah, like so that conscious BS and all that stuff. It's like. Well, like that could help you figure it out, I don't know.
No, I totally feel you. I've heard Neil deGrasse Tyson do the same thing
shit,
a lot of times, and I'm like, you're so fucking smart, but like right when you hit that wall, like I lose all of my interest to listen to you because I know that you've never experienced something outside of that.
Yeah, like what about if those niggas like took a DMT trip? I bet you that would
Joe Rogan's taking a DMT trip, and he doesn't really he advocates for psychedelics and he advocates for like the possibility that we don't know everything, but at the same time, he still confines himself to what science can tell us now.
That's crazy.
I mean? Or at least he does when he's on the podcast because he wants to look reasonable and
I think
not too far out there. That's why he said, let's stay away from the woo, Woo being like astrology, tarot card
Mysticism.
readings, psychics, clairvoyancy, mediums, like all the stuff that science can't pinpoint with an experiment that's duplicatable, pretty much.
But it's widely known across the whole world in different practices that pretty much talk about this stuff like crystal healings, medicines, herbs, and stuff like that, you know? So it's kind of crazy to just try to debunk all that stuff to say modern science is just Western modern science is like, you know, the true healing process.
There's something in the placebo. There's something in the power of the mind where the mind interacts with reality and can have an influence on it that we just don't know how to prove yet. Like I'm able to say that I believe in something that's not provable yet. You know?
Do you think that the placebo only works if you're unaware that it's a placebo? Because once you know it's a placebo, you know it's in your mind, like.
And just like you were saying, the way that society is set up, I think that's kind of like the expectation of what, even when we were kids, the placebo was defined as. It's defined as something that only works if you're blind to it being there. Mm-hmm. But what if we were somehow able to tap into that part of the subconscious mind that interacts with that substance and makes it work as a placebo and do it whenever we want it?
And why? Who's to say that's not possible? You know, like
it's totally fucking possible. It's just not provable yet. Mm-hmm. It might have happened a couple times in history with anecdotes, but until it's like provable, they're not going to tell us it's provable, and that would be irresponsible to say that it's a fact if they can't prove it. To be honest,
for sure. But it also is irresponsible to keep a lot of facts from us, you know. So it's just crazy, man. Do a lot of research.
But facts in the wrong hands too. Like I get it. I get like the secrecy, but I also get the wanting of all the information. I understand like multiple perspectives and kind of why the world is the way it is right now. Instead of being mad about why it is the way it is or why it has been the way it has been, like we can just focus on how we can make it better.
Exactly.
You know?
I mean, we should try to do that, you know, but there's a lot of hurdles I think that we just have to overcome as a society, a civilization, you know, just treating people the way he'd be. Like, it's just simple rules that even go back to like 10 Commandment type things, you know, like no, people aren't even following that type of stuff, dude.
It's like simply listening, not waiting for a chance to talk, actually listening to what your friend is saying, taking it in, hearing it, responding back something meaningful instead of just waiting for your turn to say what you felt like you wanted to say that has nothing to do with what they're talking about. Like, it's just crazy, bro. Like,
and I hate
we have
to
the
say
deepest
it.
conversations.
We do, honestly. But yeah, no, I hate to say it, but like, even the music that we're subjected to, you know, like I don't feel like it personally. Like I hear like a TK song and I'm not instantly gonna go shoot up the fucking the mall or whatever, you know. But I feel like just having those words just out in the universe, you know, it just creates a certain type of chaos. Like no matter what, because you're not directly going out and shooting people and stuff like that, that's we're continuously advocating it or like, you know, putting people on that just talk about like killing people, you know. And it's just like I used to be like, nah, it doesn't really matter, you know, rap's rap, like they grew up in the hood, but like just because you grew up in the hood and stuff like that, it doesn't mean that that's how life is. Like, you know, once these niggas get out the hood, they ain't shooting no one, you know. Like when they become like famous rappers or whatever, like they get out they get out like wherever they're from, they ain't carrying no gun. Their homie might be carrying a gun, like maybe a couple of their boys and shit. But like,
the second you do an illegal act of that caliber at that level of your artistry, you're gonna go to jail.
What Lil Uzi say? I'm famous now. I told my nigga hold my gun, like, you know, like shit like that. But it's still like that's even like, you know, that's something people get hyped to, like hold my gun. But that, you know, that gets embedded in people's mind, like
for sure.
It's just crazy, man. And yeah.
Well, the craziest part is that if there wasn't so much money behind that shit, people wouldn't create that type of music.
Exactly.
The reason why people are creating it is because like, I can get a bag real quick. They don't even care about making music. Like, if we rewarded people like Kendrick and Russ, which we do, we always reward good music in the end. The top artists in the game right now are real substance artists. Kendrick, Cole, Drake, Russ, Travis, fucking J-Rock, like all names of that caliber. They're all really quality artists and they make good music. But just the people that want to get in and get a bag and get out of the, you know what I mean? The people that come for the summer and leave by the winter, those people are motivated by the fact that that type of music makes a lot of money real quick.
It's crazy, bro. So Just getting back to just how it affects everything and anything it can affect, just it's sad because like hip hop has always been a part of my life, but just realizing that we're just promoting so people will be online talking about RIP my homie, RIP this, but then get on a song and talk about killing a nigga. Like, it's just like it's just
well, they're in their own world, right? With their friends, their family, the people they care about, and the rules of like the 10 Commandments. Like if we're gonna go 10 Commandment, those rules apply to those people, but fuck everyone else.
Yeah, and that sucks.
That's the mindset.
It really sucks, and the music doesn't help. But I always tell people this: we put the popularity. The people decide the popularity. Like we could all start just listening to conscious music or like, or just like shun that type of music. But like, no, we all choose to fucking
we all choose
praise it. Yeah. So, and there's always a lane for everybody. Like Absol still makes great music. He's not like in the limelight, but like, he has like his little cult following. Like Puya's dope as fuck type shit. So like, I don't know. It's Joey Badass.
I always thought Joey Badass was gonna become the greatest rapper in the world, like viewed by other people, because at 17 when he put out, or 15, 16, however old he was when 1999 came out, I was like, he's the best rapper in the game.
Mm-hmm. Which he kind of was, like lyrically, like he was murking it, for
better than Kendrick to me.
Well, to me too, for sure. But it just doesn't sell. He even has to do like some of these mainstream songs, just to like keep his career going and stuff
Devastated,
like that.
But that's the last big one.
That was kind of an inspirational song though, like it wasn't like
that song.
Yeah, it wasn't like,
man, I love that song.
It wasn't no Rockstar, 21 Savage and Post Malone. That was a little crazy for me because 21 Savage.
The craziest part was Post Malone saying that he's got the homies that are gonna pull up with that gra-ta-ta-ta. Like, shut the fuck up, bro.
See, and
Joey and T-Pain wrote that.
And that was one of the most number one. Like, how long was that on number one for?
So long.
A long ass time, huh?
So long. It's Sicko Mode, which is all about how Drake doesn't like Kanye.
I didn't even know that.
Or Old Town Road.
See, it's all this, but these are all distractions. I feel, and it's weird. Like, music is so cool and so entertaining, but I feel like it shouldn't be your world to influence you in how your life is all the time. They're talking about how their life is, so you say, oh, I relate, and that's how, like, this is pretty much it right now,
For sure.
But if we could potentially have this music, because some of these people I do talk about getting shot in the hood and stuff, like, I would compare that to like a war song, like someone being in war and like talking about their experiences type thing, like,
of
or
course,
like
it's very similar on a smaller scale.
Yeah, exactly. Like if we could get past the whole taking it literally, and like take it for an art form, that would definitely benefit us. But a lot of people take it literally. Niggas go to Rolling Loud, get super fucked up, and then just watch these niggas. Actually, that probably don't even get fucked up. Like what Future says, that nigga really doesn't even do drugs. Like anybody talks about it in his songs, which makes fools want to.
He said he was scared to let his fans know that he was no longer doing it for fear that they would look at his music that he's releasing differently. See? And if Future is scared of that, come on, Future's a legend.
Exactly.
If Future's scared about losing his legacy because he doesn't want to admit that he's not doing lean and popping fucking Xans and doing all that perks and crazy shit that he used to do, then every fucking young artist coming into the game right now that wants to do that style of music is fucked.
Exactly.
They're fucked.
Well, they've been fucked. I mean, like, it's getting really bad, honestly. I'm, like, not scared, but just, like, kind of saddened by the state that the mainstream hip-hop is. Like I said, there's always a fucking lane for everybody, and niggas prosper no matter what. CDE just had a dope-ass show. I don't know if you saw that. No,
but I saw Astro Gang take a picture with
SZA.
Yeah.
Shout out Astro Gang one time.
Yeah, shouts out.
When we said, okay, we're now into music.
Wait. I wanted to say one more thing.
What's that?
Go follow Russ. If you don't like his music, listen to his podcast. I've been on a Russ kick. I just read his book. And maybe on the next podcast I'll go into his book because we've obviously been going almost like 45 minutes already, and that would be like a whole 30-minute topic. But he really knows what he's talking about, and if you listen to his advice and follow his story, it could really help you figure out your goals and see how any career, not just music or producing or art, like any career that you want, like how to make it realistic and get it out the mud. Like for real, he literally drops nothing but knowledge.
And he's one that like, you know, he's hated by a lot of the rap community, but it's because I think that it's just such realness, you know, like when he said how many Xans is he gonna take or whatever, like, you know, that whole shirt thing that he wore. It's like,
dude, everything.
so you hate him because of that, but then you're gonna say R.I.P. my homie.
Everything that comes out of his mouth is real as shit, and people don't like it. People like it when you're flexing the drugs, flexing the guns, flexing how many bitches that you fuck, flexing the chains, flexing the grill, flexing the pinky ring and all that. But the second you flex that you're recorded, mixed, mastered, written, composed every single one of your songs and didn't need any help and have hundreds of thousands of fans that'll come out, like fill out the Staples Center with no opener, that's a real flex. That's an actual flex because, hell, fucking, name one hot artist right now that comes to your mind when I say hot artist.
You said you asking me?
Yeah. What's one hot artist? Like, you think of hot artists on the radio, streaming really well. Like, who do you think of?
Travis, but I mean, like, I was thinking like NLE, you know, like
NLE could not pack out Staples Center.
No.
NBA YoungBoy could not pack out Staples Center. Not without an opener, not without other people on the lineup. And Russ could do that shit in a heartbeat. Because he has actual tangible fans that really care about his catalog and not his hits.
Bro, when I went to Day and Night like 2 years ago, Khaled had the biggest...
DJ Khaled?
No, Khalid.
Khalid.
Yeah, that fool had the biggest crowd out of everyone. And that was all rappers, Famous Dex, fucking Travis Scott, Lil Uzi Vert was all there. Khalid. Boom, biggest fucking... I was like, damn, homie. And I never even heard of that nigga till that day.
Got good-ass R&B music.
Yeah.
But then the festival isn't really a true representation because like 100 fans might have come out for Travis or Khalid and then were there for the other rappers. And then the second his music came on and it was so dope, then everyone just, you know.
I was just surprised though that he got, you know, like I'd never heard of him and he had the biggest crowd presence there. I was like, damn, man.
That's
like,
dope.
Okay, I see you. And he makes good music, you know? Something like that.
Yeah, quality shit for you and your lady to chill out to.
Send me that location.
All right, do you want to do the ironic shit now?
Yeah.
Ironic. What's up, Ironic?
Shout out Ironic,
What's
dog.
poppin',
Shout out
man?
Hugo. Shout out Young Lax Sleep. Kevin G.
All the homies
Xavier.
from Esco.
That fucking project is dope, bro. Chevy, don't quit rapping. I know you stopped, but that song that you guys did.
Did he say he was gonna quit rapping?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of different things on Instagram. I don't know, you know, I don't know him too personal, so I don't want to speak too much about it, or because I don't know too much, you know. But like a couple of stories I've seen, he's talking about not wanting to be a part of the music. So you know,
I feel that I've been there. I've thought those thoughts, and I think that the podcast the idea of keeping our social media presence active when we aren't creative musically is what's gonna save me in music, because we can always do this. But we can't always like come up with the best song or whatever because, you know, stifling of our creativity.
And putting out a song all the time, like people don't always like, you know, it's only half the equation. Like you said, you know, people want to see us as well
and hear what we're about.
Yeah.
All right, I'm pulling up the album.
Because I know there's like artists that I've been listening to for a long ass time that I like, but I don't like follow on a consistent basis, you know, just because they don't put out videos and you know, stuff like that.
I feel you. You don't see what they're actually doing.
Yeah.
Keep it rolling. I'm going to replace the battery.
The show. Yeah, these niggas from Esco, bro, are doing it bigger than everybody.
Talk about what's the name of the project?
Nothing special. I like how you put the menu. What's on the menu today? Nothing special, dog. Just the same shit. But this was a special project. I think it was diverse. I could say like nothing really sounded similar. Or like, you know, y'all had that same ironic style, but like just from More Dead to Options with Dank Mob was just a total switch up, and it was sick. I fucked with it.
Dude, there was hella like... Dude, I just really fucked with how many different styles of beats.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna get on the camera though and talk.
Kevin G was on most, if not all, of these beats. Let me see. Kevin, he's on like 4 of these.
There's 5
Yeah,
total,
he
right?
ate that. Yeah, 5. Yeah, Kevin G's nasty with it. I'm about to get some work in with him too.
Yeah, I was really fucking with all it. So the production, even when it was like 808 trap beats to hip hop beats, that was all the same producer?
For the most part. So let's see. Kevin G on the first one. I think Kevin G produced the More Dead too. Yep, he did. So, nothing special. Okay, so he didn't produce 2 of them out of the 5.
Okay.
And then Nothing Special produced the rest, or the last 2. Or the other 2, sorry.
I'm excited.
But he does, he can't do both though, you know? Like, he's interchangeable with that shit, so.
Hell yeah, dude.
Which is hard to do. I can't make a boom bap beat to save my life.
Really?
I mean, I've never sat down. I mean, I have tried, but like, nah. It's really, it doesn't come out.
You want to know what I learned? That like the key of it is you have to get some samples of like acoustic drums. It's really, really hard to do it authentically with like the Logic preset. Like, what is it? Like, there's like a...
Just some of the drum kits and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a couple that are like titled for the purpose of creating boom bap, but they don't sound right.
I think it is like called boom bap or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Just go sample it from old boom bap songs or something.
I got some stems I could send you of me sampling old like jazz drum kits and whatever. That's how I made a couple of the acoustic beats that I made.
Okay.
It's just by sample. Like, you just pull it off YouTube and you pop it into Logic. You just cut the kick that you like or whatever, the best.
Yeah, well, I've done it with you.
Yeah. You cut it out. You put it on your sampler in the EX24, whatever that thing is called, and then boom, you have it.
Damn.
Yeah. But, okay. Yeah, I think More Dead was definitely my favorite song with Chevy. That shit, the beat on there was real nice. I liked the Dank Mob song too. That's the one with the 808.
That melody.
That one that was gliding, huh? Mm-hmm. I really liked everything. I thought there was smooth transitions. I listened to it like 2 or 3 times at work today, and I didn't have the titles out or like a pen out to like write down my favorite lyrics. But Ironic is coming into the Superfood for Thought podcast on Sunday to talk about it.
Nice.
Yep. I think one notable thing to say that has nothing to do with this project in specifically, one thing that has to do with Ironic that has nothing to do with his projects is his presence. I think this shit dropped like a day or 2 ago, and already every song has over 100 views.
Yeah, almost over 200. It's just 175. Like,
yeah, nah, you definitely got a really good following, bro. Like,
people really he holds like games of skate and stuff like that. That's what, man, I was like jealous of you when I saw you do that. I was like, damn, that's a golden idea. Holy shit.
Yeah, or like, what was he doing where he's like dropping pins and telling people to come find him and he'd give him free merch or whatever?
Oh shit,
I think I saw him do that too. Like, you're really on your grind business wise. I've always hella respected you for that shit.
And that's why I like following a lot of the North County artists and, you know, and like keeping up with them. I listen to pretty much everyone from North County, even if you don't think I do. I take a gander at your project and just to see what everyone's working with and like, you know, bounce ideas off of like what they're doing. Like Swagger Twism, like he's not from North County or anything, but like he put me on. So yeah, Wasani, that nigga put me on too much game, bro. Like just networking and advertising wise, you know, just
for sure
how to put yourself out there organically and grow a super organic fan base that you literally did by walking up to people and having a great conversation with them, and then they're your homie and your fan, you know, like type shit.
Dude, do you remember that 2-day period where we just sticker slapping everything with them? That shit was so fun.
Yeah,
shouts out Reese, shouts out Wasani.
Shouts out Whoa.
Dude, shouts out Amon the MC for being on the Cypher
and
Effect.
Verde.
Not only once with Verde, but twice with No One and a couple other dope ass MCs from North County. I remember watching Cypher Effect when I was young and being like, damn, 4 was on that shit. Fucking Steve 760, I remember seeing that one with him back in the day and just being like, damn, I can't wait to be a famous rapper like these guys. Now my homie Amon is on that shit. I'm like, fuck yeah.
I hold this big shit around the town, bro. All through SD and shit. And even just like El Centro and stuff like that. Like he travels. I like it.
Any final thoughts that you have for today's Hindsight 2020? Any last topics that we should touch on that are important?
We could do like that mastering little topic we were gonna do, just so you know, just to keep that music theme going for
sure
our music fans that love to get put on game a little bit, because we're getting put on game from what we're doing, you know.
For sure, like every day we try to learn something new. Do you want to tell the fans what it is mastering is, and then I'll explain the common misconceptions?
So, I mean, from what my understanding of mastering is, it is basically to get your track up to a competing level with everything else that is, out pretty much, like out and like building a buzz pretty much, or like is a clean representation of your song, so it can be played with a Beatles song and it'll have that same energy and like feel to it, and then right after that be played with like, I don't know, something new, like, oh shit, my bad, like Travis, or like, I keep on saying Travis, but he's just the most
best mastering.
yeah, he's
best mixing
crazy,
and mastering.
So it won't like you won't. It's one of those things where it's like you don't want to have to turn your volume down or up because you're changing the song all the time and stuff like that, and like hearing every part of the song when it's supposed to be heard, and like feeling, having that feel to it. So
For sure. All right, well, the definition, according to the Ozone people, mastering is often thought of as a mysterious form. Okay, hold up. Okay, like you said, the primary goal of mastering is to prepare an audio recording for distribution while ensuring it sounds at least as good, if not better, when it comes out of the mastering process than it did when it came in. So the common misconceptions that a lot of people have, and I was reading this the other day, if people don't know, I'm really good at mixing vocals, not very good at mixing beats, but I like to do vocal mixing, and I know nothing about mastering. So when I was reading this shit about the common problems, I was like, damn, I've done literally every single one of these things.
Me too.
Oftentimes, your mix will sound small and not loud enough. Turning it up or mixing it down at a higher level doesn't solve the problem. It makes it sound louder, but doesn't add the required impact or clarity. Okay, so we're at diagnosing mastering problems. Second mastering problem, common misconception, that your mix sounds dull. Other recordings are warm and deep, bright, and open all at the same time. You try boosting the EQ at high frequencies, but now your song sounds harsh and noisy. I know that I've done that a whole lot of times where I'll be like, dude, this shit sounds so crisp. Let me make mine more crisp by adding 11,000 kilohertz into this shit, and then it just sounds like
even if you have like a half a dB of that shit, sometimes,
it just adds
bro.
What is it, like 10? It sounds so thin and like. You want to read
Sharp,
the third one?
Kinda, Where are we at?
The instruments.
Okay, the instruments and vocals sound thin, lack the same sense of fullness that your recordings have. You patch in a compressor and adjust some controls, and now the whole mix sounds squashed. The vocal might sound louder, but the cymbals have no dynamics. It's fuller and lifeless. Which is crazy, but yeah, I've been through that.
You want to explain what that means, like lifeless or a squash mix? Because I don't think that people that are not audio engineers can.
I mean, even if you aren't, it's kind of hard to even know what we're talking about. But like, because then you'd have to be listening to a lot of like, I would say like a lot of SoundCloud artists, or not even that, just like people that aren't established, because like you don't really hear that in the mainstream, So, but it would just be like if your bass, or like if you play it in a car and like you almost. There's pretty much no bass. Like you could hear that the bass would be there, but it's like kind of like flat lines or something like that, and like the kick doesn't punch and stuff. It's because like it's reaching like this wall, and then it's going past that wall, so everything else is just being cut like completely. So like
they're getting squashed.
Yeah, exactly. Literally. And then like it'll sound full because like it's really like all the levels are pretty much all the way up, but you have to, the fullness only really matters if you can keep it in between in those lines.
The craziest part about the quote saying that it sounds like it's lifeless, music has to have life to it. It has to have something that's called dynamic range, which means that there's a sound that'll only peak right here, and there's a sound that'll peak right here, and then sounds will be moving within that range. And when you take a compressor and you raise the threshold and set a limit to it, you're tightening up the range of how far that sound can go down and go up, and making it like stay within a certain range to put it at a certain place in the mix, which works really good for certain instruments and it works really good for certain applications. But on the whole song itself, if you're gonna crush it like that, then when someone plays it, it's not going anywhere. It's not moving anywhere. Like, music has to make you feel. It has to make you want to get up and do the fucking Block Boy JB dance. And if it doesn't make you want to do that, then it's not a good song. Or if it's like a rock song.
Well, it could be a good song, yeah, but like it won't get the recognition, and it won't get the play value. It doesn't have replay value at that point. Of course. Because it could be a great song, but having replay value is pretty much everything. Because like you want someone to replay your song, just like you replay your song all the time, you know.
Something that Russ always says, I know I said a lot about Russ, is that everyone's down to listen to one song by an artist. Everyone's down to listen to one. So every time you get that one song that you want to put out, or the single that's going to head your project up, you want that first impression to have so much life and vibrance that they're wrapped in. And if it doesn't have that, then you've lost your opportunity. I've lost that opportunity so many times.
Real shit.
Want to read that one right there?
You can hear?
Yeah.
You can hear all the instruments in your mix, and they all seem to have their own place in a stereo image, but the overall image sounds wrong. Other tracks have width and image that you just can't seem to get from panning the individual tracks. So you probably don't even know what any of that means. So a stereo image would basically mean so your stereo system, think about it, you got two speakers. I mean, you could have a surround system, or in your car you got a bunch of different ones going on. But yeah, it's just to basically think of like a square, or like maybe even a circle. Like
it's like a half circle until you bring the surround in.
Okay.
When you bring the surround in, then I don't know if you've ever seen like an imager, but then it goes into the negative half circle, and that's where like you get full surround sound. But keep going.
There you go. So yeah, that's where your speakers basically range from. So you have you can essentially in programs and on studio boards and stuff, you can honestly, if you wanted to put a guitar all the way to the left speaker and then a drum sound all the way to the right, this is just really unconventional, crazy things I'm saying, but you could potentially put everything to one speaker and one thing to another speaker, and and everything in between.
You have a vocal on the right, a kick drum on the left, a bass coming down the middle, a cymbal coming down the
with like halfway in the like the 3 o'clock, the 2 o'clock, exactly, something like that. So
that would sound like a mess.
It's up to you. The part of mixing, this is not mastering, but mixing is getting all those sounds to fit in that stereo field the way it should feel, or the way I think about it is like when you're mixing it, how you'd want it to feel if you were in the same room as like that instrument.
Dude, wow, you just blew my mind right there.
So that's
live sound, like, think about it. They do put the drummer in the middle. They do put the guitar off. They do put the bass. Well, they mix it in the middle. It doesn't matter where he's standing, but you know what I'm saying.
So that's just that's my rule of thumb, just to know how I'm gonna make a song, because when I listen to songs, sometimes I'll be like, damn, I feel like that snare is literally right here next to me, I'm like, damn, like so. And then, let's see.
We'd skip that one.
Oh, okay. The bass doesn't have punch. You boost with some low end EQ, but now it just sounds louder and muddier, not punchier. So, basically, a EQ is equalizer, and you have basically control of frequency bands. So frequency, you can basically go anywhere in the frequency spectrum, which it goes from 0
hertz to 20,000 kilohertz.
And sorry, I lost my train of thought. The bass is at the bottom end, so it'd be like anywhere from 0 to maybe
500 hertz.
500, okay.
So around, or maybe 250 hertz. Because that's
but it gets started, yeah. But it varies obviously. But like the low end, so like it say right here that if you sometimes you'll be like, oh, I can't hear the bass, so you decide to just boost it up. But that doesn't ultimately, that will not help you, because now you're putting the bass throughout the whole spectrum of everything. It can't just be confined to its little space. Now it's when it says muddying up the mix, it means it's being present throughout all parts of it.
Everything just sounds like wow.
yeah, because there's basses,
and you hear the guitar come in every now and then, the vocal shoot up over it every now and then, but most of the time you're just gonna hear that wow.
It's like a vibe. Yeah,
sounds terrible.
It's a weird sound. It's kind of hard to emulate, but yeah, it's you'll know. You can just tell, and then once you clear something out by dipping a little bit out of that in the EQ, it becomes clear. There's a fine line between where it becomes too thin and too clear, but it
sounds like a
crazy
distorted thought.
A distorted thought. Anyway, so so that can make it not punchier, because you think you're making it more punchier by boosting it, but I said, we don't even know why it's like that, because that's what we used to do. We used to just boost the bass a little bit, but then when you go listen to it in your whip,
It sounds terrible. It sounds
You're like,
atrocious.
what?
You thought you were making it louder, and in reality, you didn't make it louder. You just made it stand out over everything. And that's something in mixing, not mastering, but something in mixing that is the most important. You want the littlest amount of effects rendering on your computer, and the most important thing is the best recording and the best spacing between the volumes of the different instruments. Like, you want to have just like the decibel knob. A decibel is how an audio engineer tracks the volume. That's like the unit of measurement that audio engineers use to track volume. And there's a little knob if you have Logic or Pro Tools where you can bring it down -6, -8, -10, -12. And that little knob right there, just mixing the sounds in that field so that they sound like they're in their right place, is way more important than any of the fucking processing that you could ever put on any instrument. Like, the bare bones is where it's really at, and then you start from there, and then you make magic.
It's like building a house. You know, you gotta start with the skeleton. You want to read that last one, or you want?
Sure, yeah. And this one's not a lot of people really like know too much about it, and I really know nothing about this. But the last thing about hold up. Oh, never mind. I was thinking about dither. I don't know why I thought that. Okay, you had reverb on individual tracks, but it just sounds like several instruments in several different spaces. Your other CDs have a cohesive space that brings all parts together. Not like rooms within a room, but a spaciousness that works across the entire mix. There are so many S's in there, and I have a grill in my mouth, and I sound like motherfucking Boogie on this shit. But so what reverb does, the best example is if you're in an alleyway and you go, hey, and then you hear, hey, like a long echo, not like a delay where it says it again, like hey, 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 but like a hey, hey, that's reverb. And if you yell off a mountaintop, you can hear reverb. Like, you can hear echo too, but a lot of the time you'll hear like a kind of like a wave of sound that comes out off the word and like carries a trail with it. And there's a lot that goes into that.
Like when you're singing in the shower.
Yeah, a lot of reverb. Or when you're in a fucking garage with no carpet on the floor.
Yeah, like what you're hearing right now, exactly. Yeah.
There's a lot of reverb in this room that we're currently in. But when mixing engineers use reverb, their intention is to add space between instruments. Because when you add the reverb, you can make a sound like it's further away, like deeper in the mix versus more upfront and present. And a lot of the times, people will just go fucking crazy with the reverb and like use a whole bunch of different ones on different instruments at different times, and it'll just sound like a whole bunch of But it's not supposed to sound like rooms within a room. It's supposed to sound like a spaciousness that just sounds big and warm and like inviting.
Exactly.
If sound can be inviting.
I mean, it is up to taste though, but like, yeah, there's a certain point where it reaches too washy, and then there's some points, so some songs, where like that
dry.
heavy reverb. No, well, it's like a heavy reverb. It sounds really good on their, like on their vocal, and like it's like, whoa, that's
like
super
the
dope. But
baby
they know how to
on
mix
Blank
it and
Blank.
shit. But dude, I feel like that thing's like side chained or something.
The reverb trail?
Yeah,
Or like gated.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
So like it doesn't affect the voice at all. And then sorry, this is really really in depth, but like we're basically saying like when we listen to the baby and like people like that, you can hear their word like kind of like dryish, not what you won't really hear reverb, but then after you'll hear that reverb like really really clean, and it never messed with like the words that he was saying.
Because you know what, it might not even be that he side changed it or put a gate on it. It could have just been the delay,
the decay,
the
pre-delay,
the pre-delay or the post-delay of the reverb itself to start a second later or like a millisecond. Because everything in sound is by milliseconds. The threshold, this is so fucking tangent, but the threshold for you to be able to tell the difference between a sound too far to the left or to the right is 10 milliseconds.
What is that? Wait, what do you mean?
So like if you moved like a vocal, like let's say it's riding the beat nice, and then you move the vocal over 5 milliseconds, you wouldn't hear it. You can move it over 6 milliseconds. You wouldn't really tangibly hear the difference.
Like you're talking about
just
right and
like,
left?
Yeah, just dragging it so that it's off beat.
Okay.
But if you do it 6 milliseconds, you probably won't hear it. You might feel the difference, but you're not going to tangibly hear the difference until it hits beyond 10 milliseconds. That's like the threshold of us being able to like tell with our ears that something was moved.
Okay. But what is that? What were we tying into that?
Milliseconds.
Okay.
I think that I said milliseconds, and then there was a weird tangent.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I was being random as fuck with that.
I didn't know if I missed something or something.
No. I was being stupid. All right, I think we've been going a long time.
Yeah, I think they're sick of us talking already. So.
About mastering.
No, they probably love to soak up the game, but like we always say, keep your eyes open, keep practicing, keep that grit going.
For sure. And
It's hard, you know?
Yeah.
It really is hard. Like, people don't like to admit it, but it really is hard.
There's a lot of shit that you could have done differently. There's lots of different ways that the past could have gone down. But the more you focus on that, you're living in the hindsight. And you got to have some foresight and get your future popping.
Shit.
For real. Hindsight 2020.
Hindsight 2020. We're like 15 days away from the year 2020. So we'll see.
Dude, that's the year of the pod. For sure. All right.
Shit.
I love you, dog.
Love you too, bro.
All right, peace out.